Garden. The Celtics hold a 3-1 series advantage after winning Game 4 on Sunday in Orlando, 107-98 in that game. Jason Tatum had 37. Here's Jaylen Brown getting the scoring started.
And that was a real easy score right there by Jaylen Brown. Got right to that mid-range jumper and pulled up. Easy work.
Orlando got into this series with a Game 3 victory, 93-95. Paolo Banchero's been the third leading scorer in the postseason so far. He gets it up to Franz Wagner, 4 on the shot clock, guarded by Tatum. Wagner in the corner. Corey Joseph, no good on the 3. Orlando has really struggled from distance.
And that's what's going to happen. When you look at those shots, those wide open shots, like a shot that Corey Joseph just got right there, he's going to have to be able to knock that shot down if Paolo and Franz are going to have enough space to work.
Horford connects. That's a long 2 for Horford.
The ageless wonder. And that's pretty much the difference between these two teams. One team has the ability to stretch the floor, the other does not. They both compete defensively, but on the offensive end, the Celtics stretch you out all the way to the three-point line. On the flip side, the Orlando Magic, one of the worst teams we have in this league at shooting the 3 ball.
Franz Wagner, no good on the layup. Last he tied it at 91 with 4:18 to go. But they saw the experienced Celtics go on a run. There's Paolo Banchero, first points of the night for Orlando.
And right there, at the top of the key, I thought Porzingis could have showed his numbers a little bit more. Made Paolo kick that ball out to Franz Wagner, who only shoots about 29% from 3.
Good defense there by Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. The head coach of the Magic in his 4th season is Jamal Mosley, 2nd consecutive playoff appearance for him. Last year, the runner-up in Coach of the Year voting. This year, his team has endured a lot of adversity, several big injuries. There's going to be a foul on Horford. Joe Mazzulla, the 3rd-year head coach for the Boston Celtics, at 35 years old last year, became the 2nd youngest head coach to win an NBA title, only behind Bill Russell. There's Wagner.
Great move right there by Wagner.
Slowly gets up. Here's Banchero driving. Banchero at 6'10", muscles his way in. He can't find the shot tonight.
Paolo, with Coach Mosley, he said Paolo's just scratching the surface, which is scary for the rest of the league. So there's still a lot of things in this game that he can improve on. He feels one day he will be in the MVP conversation. KCP knocks down the jumper.
It is now a 6-6 game. 8 minutes to go, first quarter. Here's Porzingis driving. Boston leads it by 2. 7:43 to go, first quarter. Here's Banchero. Wagner. Out to KCP. In and out, no good for KCP, who has struggled all series long. Let's welcome the audience on NBA TV who just watched a thriller of a game, seeing Indiana get a 119-118 win over Milwaukee in a wild game. Here's Wagner driving for Orlando, and the Magic tie the game up at 8.
I love that right there by Wagner. Get out there in transition. You understand your team struggles to score in the half court. They need as many transition buckets as possible. I know that's not what Orlando has done traditionally this season as far as scoring in transition, but they're going to have to do it if they're going to win tonight in Boston.
Porzingis' 3-point struggles continue. For those of you just joining us here on NBA TV, Celtics can win and advance tonight to the 2nd round. They lead the series 3-1. Horford gets the steal, but here comes that pesky Orlando Magic defense. They never stop.
Great defense by Corey Joseph.
Banchero
into the mid-range for tough 2s. Franz Wagner told me they got to clean up their switching, be more physical in their pick and rolls. He said more pressure on the ball will also be critical, so Porzingis can't get underneath the defense, guys.
On a bill, here's Jason Tatum driving and missing on the layup. Here comes Orlando. Both teams are combined 0 for 6 from 3 to begin. There's Porzingis on the block. Now it's Wendell Carter going to get back for the Magic. Nabil mentioned the word physicality. There's been a lot of that in this series. Franz Wagner driving. Wagner getting the roll.
And they definitely have been physical. This Orlando Magic team, their calling card has been defense. But in these playoffs, I will say some of those fouls have had a little bit extra spice on them. Just a little bit. The Orlando Magic want to make sure you know when you've been fouled.
Turnover. Here comes Carter. And now it's a 13-8 lead for Orlando as they have scored the last 7 points of the game.
Let's see if Pritchard can get going. He was big time in the first 2 games of this series, scoring 19 and 14, but the last 2, he's combined for only 3 points.
Yeah, shut out in the Game 4 win. Tatum driving. Tatum blows the buddy.
Too easy of a look.
Tatum so far today, 0 for 2. But he does have 3 assists. Here's Carter going at Horford. Joseph whips it around to Franz Wagner. Wagner out to Joseph. Joseph uses the screen. Now Carter in the corner. No good. Way off.
Man, and it's just been a struggle all game long for the Magic from behind the three-point line.
All season long, 30th in NBA in three-point percentage. Tatum gets his first bucket. And that's now a three-point game.
And that's the problem with this Orlando Magic ball club. You have 2 great scorers. You look at Banchero and Wagner. They can absolutely get it done as they've been carrying this team in this series. But there's not enough shooting between those 2 guys. As we see KCP knock down a triple. And there's not enough shooting to surround them also.
KCP was just 4 for 16 from 3 coming in. Remember, he made his name winning 2 titles shooting threes for the Lakers and Nuggets. That was first 3. KCP coming up with a steal. Now he gets it back. Is he feeling it? Maybe.
Definitely is. Listen, we know this young man has that championship level pedigree and that experience. He's been in big time games before, and he will not shy away from the moment.
And he's been one of the top players in terms of the physicality and talking. He said after that Game 1 foul of this series, which suffered the injury to Tatum, he said, listen, it's just playoff basketball. Pritchard off on the 3. 9-point lead for Orlando.
And in the playoffs, it's supposed to be a little bit more physical, a little bit chippy. You start playing against each other on a nightly basis. I know your plays, you know my plays. Tired of seeing you. It's supposed to get a little chippy.
Pritchard, a 12 game in favor of the Magic. Game 5, Orlando trying to keep their season alive. Cole Anthony in for the first time tonight, looking to give them.
Fournette and Tatum with a great setup on that back door also.
Tatum with 4. Magic have been led by the 7 of Franz Wagner. On Carroll, looking for Anthony Black, who struggled with his shot.
And that's the problem right there. Paolo creates a problem. 3 Celtics go to him. He kicks it to Anthony Black. But because Black isn't a three-point shooter, he doesn't take that shot. And that's why Cole Anthony ends up getting a tough shot. If you don't have the ability to stretch teams to the three-point line in today's game, you're going to end up in a lot of ugly possessions.
Peyton Pritchard working around Gary Harris. Top of the key for Tatum. Tatum has scored 73 points over his last 2 games. Did not play in Game 2 with a right bone bruise. Tatum, the step back on Banchero.
That's tough. That's tough. That's tough right there, Jason Tatum. Creating that space with the step back right in Paolo's grill.
Only 5 Celtics have scored more points in the playoffs in this franchise storied history than Jason Tatum. 3 ball, no good by Black, and here comes Boston. Crowd getting into it. Not been the case so far over the first 11 minutes. Jonathan Isaac to Franz Wagner. Wagner, Black, doesn't want any part of it.
And there's good reason for that. Black only shoots 31% from 3.
Pulls up over the 7-2 Cornet. Off the back of the iron, no good. 40 seconds to go, opportunity for 2 for 1. Tatum muscling his way in, no.
All NBA teams, all All-Star teams as well.
Wagner off the window, no. Good contest by Cornet. Tatum has scored the last 6 for the Celtics, who have gotten it within 3. They trailed by 9 2 different times. 3-second shot to game clock differential. Very good defender, long defender, Black on Tatum. 7 on the time. Tatum, and on the free throw line. Boston within 1. Shot clock off. 2 seconds. Harris at the buzzer knocks it down. Gary Harris. And Pritchard, the half-court, end-of-quarter specialist, comes up.